Hello, everybody. It's Michael Finkley with The Michael Finkley Show.
And I'm Nicole with Conversations with Nicole. You can join me Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on all of my streaming platforms.
Well, Nikki, don't forget about The Michael Finkley Show, Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the CTR Media Network.
Join us.
Hey, what's going on? This is gospel artist Malcolm Christopher II, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Do it for me.
On the next Michael Finkley, Jefferson Langley stops by and gives us insight of his life story.
Survival in different ways. You know, little kids would tell their moms, look, God left him in the oven too long.
And the future of his business, the Shepherd Studios. Thursday.
There's a new familiar face this time. Say hello to the new daytime. See it everywhere you go. New and the greatest show. It's no other than the Michael Finkley Show. There is no other. He's like no other. I'm so glad that someone resonates with me. Come celebrate with me. It's someone to
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, I tell you, he is a brother. He really is. True fam, literally. I've got to know him in another way, literally, and it's a great way. It's a positive way. He is the CEO and co-founder of the Shepherd Studio, and he's none other than my good friend, my good brother, Jefferson Langley. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm well. Thank you for having me, my man. I love it. I love it.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. I had to tell it to the Fink fam. I got to tell you. He came to me. He's like, I got a story. I want to tell my story. I want to tell my story. And I was like, I'm waiting on you. I was waiting on you the whole time. So I'm so glad when you reached out and you said, I want to tell my story. I want to tell my story. And what a powerful story it is. Well, we're definitely going to get into it. But when I want you to finish this sentence for me. Jefferson is blank. Fill in the blank for me.
Jefferson is always growing.
Why?
It's just my way. It's the only way I know, you know. I know no other way. It's to always be looking at myself, getting better. How can I help people better? How can I make a bigger impact? All of that. And, you know, I just have taken it upon myself to, you know, they say it always comes back to you. So I took that to heart, and it's all about me in the best ways, and it's all about everyone else in the best ways, you know?
I love that because I've heard people say, even in life, I've learned a lot. That means they stop growing, they stop learning.
Yeah.
That's scary because as long as you live and breathe, you're supposed to be learning something about something,
Yes.
including self, because we change every day. We change every day. So I'm so glad you said that. So could you just tell us who you are and what you do to the Think fam, those who are not familiar with you?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, ultimately, I'm an entrepreneur. I've, you know, started many businesses and, you know, helped other people start successful businesses. But yeah, I primarily am in the entertainment industry. I own a 360 studio where we make films, games, TV, software, tech stuff. I have some incredible partners that are part of it that have done amazing things in their own right. And I basically pulled this big, call it a brain trust together from all these successful people in different tracks of, you know, their different track records and walks of life, and said, what if I bring these elite of the elite together in one place? And, you know, of course, oh, it can't be done. You can't get those people to drop their ego, and, you know, I always take that as a challenge, you know, and, you know, many people have underestimated me in the past. And, you know, I think I've always risen to the occasion when it comes to that. So, yeah, so I've made movies and, you know, throughout my life. I've, you know, won awards as a music video director. I was in one of MTV's first reality series about music video directors. I won a competition and, you know, flew me out to New York and did this whole, they were doing a reality series about up and coming music video directors. I've done campaigns for big brands. I've had movies in theaters. And I was originally from a small town in Texas, and thought I was going down the sports path and I was going to be a professional athlete, and, you know, had some different incidences that kind of, veer you onto different things. And because I say I'm always growing, I take what it is, I listen to those signs, I call them the God nudge, and God nudges me and goes, yeah, yeah, a little over to the right, a little over to the left. And like, yeah, but the sports career is over there. No, 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 it's going this way. So I follow that nudge, and it always takes me to the right place. And here I am. I mean, some of my partners have done some, like I said, incredible things, Entourage and top shows, SEAL Team and some of the biggest games in the world, and running mobile game studios and huge graphic novel series, and we all just come together and just we're like a brother and sisterhood, and it's incredible.
I love that. I love the success of Jefferson, because you've done so much. You've done so much in your life thus far, and you still have so much to do.
Yeah.
You're settled, you're grounded in what you're doing, you're good at it, and people see that.
Yeah.
And that's what brings us to this time and this place. But
Yeah.
let's go back to Texas. Let's go back to Texas, Jefferson, and let's
All
talk
right.
about that young Jefferson. What was he like?
It's interesting because I lived I would say a dual life. It was very interesting to be me because, obviously my ethnicity, and I'm growing up in a small town in Texas where, very racist. It was in the 1970s. I was born in the 70s, and so being brown was in some ways worse than being white or African American or black, because they didn't know quite where to put you and they just wanted to put you in a place, right? So I think that was in a lot of survival in different ways, trying to fit in outside my skin color. So I overachieved a lot to try to deflect from the fact that I was so different. And, um, little kids would tell their moms, look, God left him in the oven too long, and things like that. So, when you're growing up in that kind of, small town environment, Friday Night Lights, I was a, prodigy athlete, very agile and hand-eye coordination. So I was playing multiple sports at a very high level. But at the same time, I had a mother who's, obviously Latin and Native American Indian. So I had a very spiritual kind of deep dive in a lot of ways. I was, whenever I would get sick, I wouldn't take medicine. I'd eat crushed up plants that they call herbs, right? And, so I was going to see healers in the 1970s, getting acupuncture, acupressure. And then I have the other side with a very superficial father that, was, um, very rough and very verbally abusive. And, it's all about winning, and, it's never good enough, and, would physically torment me and taunt me, and, kind of having that balance. At the time, I didn't know, I would just kind of veer towards what he, would call like the the prissy stuff, right? So I think I just hidden my achievement for the most part, Well, if I do well enough, they'll accept me outside of what they're looking at. Or if I overperform, that this man won't browbeat me every day, all day about my lack of whatever it is. This, I could go and be MVP of a tournament, and he would focus on what I didn't do and what went wrong and all of that stuff, and used to get shit faced and get thrown out of the tournaments and stuff, and the cops would escort him out, and he'd never be welcome back. So he'd stand at the street at the fence yelling at me whenever I'd misplay a pass or whatever. So I think for the most part it was that kind of fight or flight syndrome most of the time, and really diving into what I knew I was good at. So it was creativity. It was, I read a lot of books. My mother had me in book group where I was reading a book a week as a kid, so I was writing short stories and in short story competitions, so I dived into creativity, into sports, into athleticism, into overachievement. And it was an interesting upbringing for sure.
How did you handle pain? Because that those situations, those moments in your life, I'm sure
Yeah.
brought pain. So at such a young age and even into your teenage years, how did Jefferson handle pain?
Yeah, I think for the most part, as I said, the duel, there was the kid who was going to see shamans and, doing all this, I had grandparents that lived in New Mexico. So when I would stay with them in the summers, I would go and talk to these medicine men out in the middle of nowhere in these teepees in the middle of the desert and, talk to them about life. I was very philosophical for some reason. I think by nature, I wanted to know why and what was happening and why do, why does a kid that has so much and their parents are billionaires, shoot himself with a shotgun, like these kind of things. A close friend of mine. And so when it came to pain, I think that side was facing it head on in some ways. But then the other side, I think I was just stuffing it down and trying to not let this evil kind of tormenting person in my life know that it was getting to me, never let him see a sweat kind of thing. So I built up this reservoir of steel, that could store a tremendous amount of pain. And, most athletes, people don't know, most people don't know this, but most athletes play with injuries, so if you take that into that concept, I was playing with injuries constantly, not only in sports, but in life, so I just kind of grew to use my perseverance and I guess my fortitude to move forward, and just kind of push through with sprained ankles, aka, you know, traumatized. I drowned when I was about 4 years old almost, and they had to save me and pull me out of the lake and stuff. And um, never saw a therapist about that, and never really kind of was able to talk about that. And growing up, so I just didn't swim. Just, so you find solutions in a way, and I became very adept at creating kind of these correctional maneuvers in a way to say like, okay, well, yes, I'm dragging this with me, but if I correct it in this way, it'll look like it's straight. You know what I mean? So kind of as I went straight, I would just correct it, with the best measures, call them forms of measures that I could.
Do you feel that because you built this wall
Yeah,
and you decided to ignore it,
yeah.
do you feel that you built a person that others would like and could tolerate?
Yeah, I mean, there was some hidden stuff. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I, had my things to work through, and people have seen, the hurt side of me that expressed in whatever anger or whatever I've done throughout my life. But when it comes to the wall, I think yeah, I mean, for sure, I built this wall to kind of just tolerate what I could, and as I looked at it later and I worked on it on myself about it, it was an interesting awareness because I realized that there's two sides to the wall, the one that protects you and the one that hides you, So I was kind of being protected but also hiding in a way. And so people would go like, why do I feel like you're hiding something from me? Well, got a lot of shame, bro. I don't want to talk to you about what I had to go through as a kid in order to make it here. So but it did build I guess you could say a little bit of it added to the substance that I was going after, right? To and in a way, it was my way of saying you're not going to affect me the way you want. I'm going to transform it into something that I can use. And so I think people do gravitate towards me in that way because I'm very transparent about it and I'm very authentic about it. And I wear my heart in my sleeve. And as much as people have told me not to do that, and I know no other way. It's just that's my way. You're going to get my heart. You're going to get my spirit. You're going to get my best. And look, if that's not your jam, no problem. I understand. I'm not the flavor for everybody. But also, if you're doing something wrong to somebody I love or me or anything like that, I'm the first one you're gonna have to face. So it gave me a little bit of dynamic, a dimension to it that I think maybe I would have maybe missed a little bit if I hadn't have transformed that into something positive, you know?
Gotcha. That's something about life, though, right?
Yeah,
I feel, we go through so many different modes and changes and,
yeah,
ups and downs and all this good stuff, all the bad stuff, all the stuff that we don't care about. And then it makes us who we are as individuals, right? At the end of
yeah,
the day, we learn as we get older, right? The knowledge comes, the wisdom comes. It's like, I didn't understand why I was going through it, but now I get it. Now I
yeah,
get it and I can appreciate it that much more. But when we're going through it, it's like, what in the world? Why am I going through this?
yeah.
What is
What are you
going
expecting me to
on?
learn? Yeah,
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 yeah, definitely.
I
So
agree.
as you continue within your even your teenage life, your adult life,
Yeah.
in that right, um, what else went on to get you to the point of where you are today in dealing with people and dealing with family? Now I'm on this level of I'm an adult now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I've learned and I took it upon myself to, make myself the number one project so that everyone got the best of me, you know. It's not they don't deserve to get my worst side or my worst version, you know. So I went, if I work on me, they'll get the best version and I'll get that reflection back from the universe and from God and everything else. So um as an adult, part of what I wanted to do was to be able to adapt to any type of energy somebody has or their persona or their idiosyncrasies in order to match, kind of match them in the way that they want. And if it's not a way that I want to match, then I'm out because, I feel like you're in charge of the way you respond to things and the way you reflect back to people. And I just wanted to be in charge of that rather than it owning me and, being so reactive without knowing where that spontaneity was coming from. I mean, I'm a big believer of myself that emotions are just measuring tools. If you look at a subject or somebody's triggering you or whatever, and you're having a negative emotion, then, that tells you where you're at with that subject or that person. So I tend to kind of take those moments and go, okay, I'm having some kind of negative response to this, and I can reflect back to them something good anyway and take that with me and I'll go work on that later because I should be in a good place with most things, right? So over my adult years, I think it's helped me because I had to be so many different people as a child, right? I had to be that kind of strong for my mother as they were going through their dark times, the parents and, getting divorced, and she was sleeping on the couch for many years. I mean, the guy didn't even give her the room. She made her sleep on the couch and he took the room. I mean, crazy. Um, to watch that as a child, getting up and going and your mother sleeping on the couch, and going, come on, man, you're not big enough to go like, hey, look, it's not working out. That's fine. You don't need to always get along, but be a bigger man than that and give the mother of your child, your only child, that by the way, your plan was for me to be born on your birthday as a gift to you from yourself. You know what I mean? Which that in of itself says everything. I'm not having a child for the child's sake. I'm having the child as a present to myself, and he needs to be born on my birthday. And I was 5 days early. So the defiance started early, even before I was born, right? So yeah, I mean, being an adult, I think, is interesting because I think the adult space is more just recorrecting unresolved childhood scenarios that are coming back around in a way, right? So we can even take another step forward. So yeah, man, I mean, it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Hi, I'm Tanya Pinkins. I play Marie Willis on Tyler Perry's Sisters on BET, and you are watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Oh, the next Michael Finkley.
The winner of Sherry's Funding Over 50 contest, Juanita Lolita, stops by. She tells us how her life has changed since being on Sherry and upcoming tour dates. Monday.
Hello everybody, it's Finkley from the Finkley Experience. We're an educational consulting firm that specializes in first generation education. So we assist students with their college and career endeavors. We train school administrators on the state of first generation students. And also we partner with colleges and universities to assist their first generation population for easy transition from high school to college. So if you're looking for a presenter or speaker that presents on these topics and so much more, visit our website at thefinkleyexperience.com and learn about all that we do. We're looking forward to working with you.
Hi guys, welcome to Awaken. We wanted to serve the city of Mullins. We are church owned, and we felt like a coffee shop was such a huge need in the city of Mullins. There's nowhere for people to just come, get a cup of coffee, sit with friends, maybe do some work on the laptop. And so we feel like it was a service that we could give back to the city. Well, our hope is that people will feel calm, that they'll feel welcome, that it'll be a place where they can come and just clear their mind.
We come here twice a day. That's how I get their smoothies, their coffee, their lattes, frappes, delicious. Oh, I love the atmosphere here. If I had time to come and just sit and relax, I would. It's awesome.
One thing that I really love about it being here is just the cozy environment. It's so inviting. I can come in here and I can get my schoolwork done, a good coffee and a good meal. But I'm just really thankful that they're here and that I have a good place to go.
We're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Awaken Coffee Bar, downtown Mullins.
It's alright.
Hey family, it's gospel artist Marcus Jordan, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Everything, it will be okay.
One thing we didn't discuss, because we had a conversation before this, we didn't go into detail. We both have daddy issues. We both have daddy issues, and it's just real, right? It's just real. My dad passed away almost 2 years ago. And when he passed away, I said to myself, there was so much more I wanted to ask you, but you took that away from me because you died. And I can't ask you that anymore. So now that you have, your dad's still with us, correct?
Yeah.
Your dad's still here. How are you mending those feelings and handling the disappointments, because like you said, even before you got here, there was already a strike against you. Different things that he has done with, over the years that you didn't agree with, just recently. How are you handling all of this now as the man you are? Because right now, literally, I have my moments where I'm still mad at him, at my dad. 6 feet under. And that's nothing I can do now. But now I know that I'm still needing to work on that. But how are you working on that?
Oh man, I turn a lot to prayer and healing. I go to healers. I work on a lot of the subjects that I'm mad about, not necessarily that particular person, because I wouldn't give them that level of value, right? I'm a firm believer you're just playing a role. It's it's just stage and we're all actors, right? So I think most of the time I look at the scenarios and any anger that I'm harnessing, and believe me, I've had it and I do have it, and the disappointment in knowing that this person could have done better but did it by choice was kind of an added, kind of the icing on top. I look at it, I work on it, I understand he's just a man and it wasn't good enough. And, that's for him to deal with. And obviously he's not the kind of person that's going to deal with that, right? He's not man enough to look at himself in the mirror and say, I know it was me and I looked at what I've done. And, although there's been the crying and I apologize and everything, it's coming from a dead vessel that doesn't really mean what they say. It's just like because again, it's all image. So you're talking about a man that covered everything up with money, covered everything up with the image on the outside, right? But little did they know what people didn't know what was going on inside the doors. So, um, as I see things come up and it reflects something that reminds me of that, I tend to step back and go, okay, this is not him right now. This is some other person, right? And they're mirroring that right now. And I can react to that as if it was him, right? Or I can say, I know who you are. That's fine. I'm going to go deal with that subject myself. So I go and heal it and I look at it, look at the awarenesses that I'm supposed to get from it. Where have I been like that? Have I done anything similar? Am I mad at myself too? Because it's showing me something that I don't like about myself. So it's a very complex process I personally go through. But I look at it 360. I'm not a big fan of blaming things or people or anything because it takes two to tango, and by all means, I participated in all of that. But what I think makes me different is that even though I participate in things that I'm not necessarily proud of after the fact, everyone can rest assured that after that moment, I've gone and fixed it in myself. So know that I've healed that, right? Now it doesn't condone anything that he's done or I've done or whatever, but yeah, just find more ways to love things and love people, love myself. Always replace the things that I'm moving out with the things that I want it to be. So if I'm pissed about something that comes up that I know, I'm like, that was effed up what you did, and you never ever took responsibility for that, and you still to this day say it's everyone else, right? I look at it and go, is that my job to have him grow, or is it my job to have me grow? So my job is to be the best I can, and I measure myself all day because I look at it. Someday I'm gonna have to go back to the creator and stand there, and I want to be able to look back myself and go, it was a good shot. You did a good shot. So yeah, man, moving it out.
The process.
And everybody's got their own, right? Yeah, people look at it different ways, but I'm just a big believer that the lessons are the key, and the more you can investigate that and go, okay, yeah, there's that lesson. Okay, yeah, there's that lesson. But is there a deeper, I call it like the 13th brick, the brick below all the bricks that holds it all up, right? And I go for that 13th brick, just pull it out and it just crumbles, right? So yeah, man, I mean, who knows where that guy is now? And that's not, like I said, it's not for me anymore. That's for him and whatever it is that he believes in or doesn't believe in.
Because in some ways you kind of already done your part, and you're still doing your part for you in your own way.
Yeah, I mended myself.
Exactly. You talked about the wall before.
Yeah.
At what point in your life did you break down the wall in order for a person to see the real, true Jefferson?
Oh man, I mean, probably I've probably done it 5 times and put it back up the same amount of times, so I've taken it down and looked around, put it back up, so I can't even say that I've done it completely. Right now it's down. This is it. I've had it down in my teens when I was really pushing to get a scholarship and getting a scholarship in, sports and came out to LA to go pro and try to play in the MLS. And so they got to see you, right? And now I'm in entertainment, and it's all about seeing you, right? So I would say in my late 20s, I put it back up. I had a stalker for quite some time who did some pretty bad things and destroyed my career. And you find out later that this person that played the father role was actually a part of it, and that's for responsible for basically tearing down a 12-year career that you built from scratch, working at the bottom of some of the biggest and most powerful people in entertainment as their assistant. And grinding it out, and then you get it all together, and an obsessed fan becomes a stalker, and then you find out later that this person was a part of it. So I put it back up after that to protect myself because I basically lost everything and because of this. And um, I would say around, say about 8 or 10 years ago, I took it back down again. Say like, look, I worked on myself behind in my laboratory, cleaned a lot of stuff up, dropped it back down, and here I am. And again, I'm a big fan of tell me who you're with, and I'll tell you who you are. And so anytime, yeah, anytime. I mean, look, you're a good reflection, my friend. So anytime that negative, side gets to me or starts going like blah 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 blah, I step back and I look around and I go, well, I have people who love me. I've got partners who care. We're like a brotherhood, sisterhood. They do anything for me. I do anything for them. I get to chat with you and trip the mind fantastic and share the heart and mind of things. And my dog, so I look at what's around me and it reminds me of what I'm about. I must be doing something right because the people around me are incredible, and vice, so I just automatically assume vice versa. So the better they are, the better I feel about myself.
Why did you decide in this time in this season to go more in depth with your story? Because you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, people have always said, man, you got to write a book about your story. You've been stabbed. And I mean, all this, a kid put a gun to my head when I was 16 and pulled the trigger and it jammed. And yet I've seen, success, and I've worked for some, powerful people in entertainment, and, so much of the spectrum. And, it was so hard for me to find value in that. Did not thinking people would think there's something valuable in that. Like me. Well, I mean, there's so many more interesting people. But then as I, would get reflection back, and people would say, man, you got to tell your story, man. It's powerful, and not just because you need to say it, but because people need to hear it. And I'm a big believer in is like, if you can't do it for yourself, do it for others. You know, so whenever I have a down day, or it's got me by the short hairs, I just go like, okay, what can I do for someone else right now, and just get out of myself. I mean, I lived with monks for 3.5 months in the middle of the mountains in the desert. I'm not even Buddhist, and I went and donated my time off the grid, no phone, no cell phone, no computer, no running water, no electricity, just their temples and planting gardens. I fed mountain lions by my hands. I mean, crazy. And people are like, why did you do that? You fell off the grid. And I just wanted to know that I could be as unselfish as that, as going, I get no reward for this except for the fact that I know that I can do it outside of myself completely, because everybody does stuff and it's like, where's the exchange? Where's the transaction? And I wanted to go like, it can't just be that. It can't be, I do this and this gets back. I do this and what if I just do this and that was it? So I just felt like, because of all these people, giving me such powerful feedback and encouragement, I just felt like maybe it's time I tell it.
Everything has a season, and everything for that season, there's a reason.
Yeah.
I feel that if you would have told the story a few years ago, it wouldn't have been as developed as it is now, and lessons wouldn't have been learned.
Oh yeah.
So everything has a time. Everything has a time. Do you regret anything?
Yeah, I regret ever regretting anything, because I don't think regret is not of positivity. I mean, regret for what, right? I don't believe there are mistakes. I think there's just choices that could have been better, actions that could have been better. So I don't regret anything except for the things I didn't do, right? So a lot of that comes from feeling bad about things that I didn't need to feel bad about, or, so in other words, regretting that I felt regret, because nobody wins. I regret, nobody cares. They don't ever get the payoff for me regretting. They don't care that I feel bad about it, So like I said earlier, is for anybody that, I've hurt by mistake or whatever, not intended. It's for them to know that I've grown and I've been better. And, hopefully that, brings peace to anyone that I've ever crossed paths with and like, that was messed up or whatever, because I've definitely done some crazy stuff, no doubt. And I have hurt, I've hurt people unintentionally. And, so I just felt the best way that I could show my, uh, my apology to them was to say, I've worked on myself and I'm not like that anymore, you know?
Have you forgiven yourself?
Yeah, I have. It was an invigorating experience because the monks were big about that. And they were the ones who kind of walked me through that. And it's so poignant, right? Because not being of their religion, right? I I don't follow the behaviors of what it's like to be a follower of Buddha at that time, right? And there were all the parishioners that would come and donate, and I was planting trees and gardens and stuff. And so they were the ones who really kind of created that bridge for me because I didn't know I needed to, right? Because I had kind of gone, you know, in on the surface level, right? But in the deep, deep, deep depths, they, through a lot of their help, I, would do these walks at 4 in the morning with no, in the middle of the desert. And so there's no lights, right? And it's pitch black. And they would be like, trust yourself that you're walking in the right place. You don't fall, you just keep walking. And those were the times where they would say, okay, now while we're out here, I want you to put everything up in the sky and just whatever it is that's coming to mind and forgive yourself for all the things that you did do, you didn't do, that have done to you. You were part of it, you created it, and take back all that ownership and saying, you know, it's a powerful thing when you say to someone, you think you did that to me, but you actually were just reading the lines I gave to you. They have no control. They're just showing up on set of life, right? And just playing their role. Here's your 50. Good job. Thanks for doing your day, you know? So yeah, man, I mean, forgiveness is interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
I think it's continuous too.
Yeah, yeah. And at different levels, right? Different ways, right? Been some big ones, there's small ones, I mean, I'll accidentally step on my puppy's paw and go like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'll stand there for a second and go, I forgive you. I forget. It's okay. It's okay. So I mean, tiny ones that seem so small granularly, but then the big ones, right? Um, it's different.
Exactly. Exactly. From this short time we've been talking, what have you learned about yourself?
I love people, man. I love the interaction when people actually care to connect and that invisible touch that happens, whether anybody else gets it or not. I'm here for you. I'm here to be the best version of myself for your show and to support you and to share and be myself. And I just think, in my mind, we're in this little bubble, and you and I are connecting through this synthetic, invisible nature, and I'm so grateful because, you can't buy that,
Cannot.
you know, Yeah. So, I mean, the monks used to tell me, emotions, they're not real. And I go, okay, yeah, I can see that. And they'd go, put love in my hand. And I'd go to hug them, right? And they'd go, no, 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 put love in my hand, right? And I go, oh, it's intangible, right? It's the experience, right? So, yeah, man, I mean, I've learned today again that I just appreciate that level of connection with you, man, and anyone else who experiences it too. Bravo to you because that's the price. That's the priceless stuff. That's the gold.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love, love, love the person I see today, Jefferson, right in front of me. What are you working on now?
Oh man, so yeah, we've got quite a bit of projects coming out. We're doing a genre movie or suspense horror movie that high concept about the war in heaven. We're doing a couple TV series that we're moving along. Got a game that we're building. We've got some tech stuff we're building. So yeah, man, we're doing quite a bit of stuff. And like I said, I mean, every day I get to work with these people and I sit back and go, oh, look at it's like it would be like playing basketball with Michael Jordan, but they're everywhere, right? All on the team, Tiffany, I see her, and like here's this person that understands finance at a whole nother level, works for LeBron James. I mean, it's insane how much I get to look at these people and admire them in so many different ways. So yeah, man, we got this cool storytelling platform that we're launching on Discord um, that is going to be super cool. These bots that tell stories for you when you're not there, and I mean it's cool. So I mean we're big creator supporters. It's all about the creator. So yeah, man, the Shepherds. It's a good place.
The Shepherds, come on.
I mean, look at the name, the Shepherds. Come on, the Shepherds. I mean, and our logo is an owl. Okay, and people are like, owl, wouldn't it be like a staff or anything? And going, oh, then you don't know much about the owl, right? They watch over, they see 360, right? They see in the dark, right? They're the watchers, they're the helpers. They do so many things to protect the environment. I mean, so it's so perfect. I mean, um, yeah, so anytime you see the owl, you'll know that's us.
I love it. I love it. Who do you still want to work with?
What's that?
Who do you still want to work with?
Oh my God. I mean, we'd have to do a whole nother show. There's so many talented. I mean, gosh, so many people. I mean, from technologists that the way they think. I mean, obviously in the entertainment business, I mean, so many people, and it's interesting because people would go like, oh, that person, yeah, yeah, yeah. But they don't know that person does so many other things on the side. Like, so like we're we're talking to Gal Gadot, right? Wonder Woman, right? She has a company, right? And we're talking to them, and she has this production company. She's all about creators, and she's banging the drum with her husband, and she's got amazing people that work there. But you say her name, and people go Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to them. So I mean, I just was raised around some of these people that work for Tarantino and watching them do so much stuff for other people and help people. I mean, they gave me my shot, they gave me free film, let me shoot with 35 millimeter cameras. They didn't need to do that, and I was 21. But they're like, you're a hard worker, man. What do you want to do? And I want to be the boss. I mean, they're like, okay. I tell you what, why don't you start with the shootings and stuff? So I mean, I'd love to work with Javier Bardem, man. Javier Bardem. I mean, there's so many people like that, actors. Um, yeah, I mean, there's people in the philanthropy space. I mean, there's a buddy of mine that comes from philanthropy, and he's done so much stuff for, the different organizations and stuff. And I'd love to, be a part of some of the stuff he's doing. It's crazy.
The cool list, and I know it's continuous, it's growing.
Yeah.
Scratching off and adding. I love it. I love it. Are you proud of yourself at this stage in your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. The fact that I'm here, I mean, that's all I do. Every morning I get up, doing good, you're doing good, you got me here. It's a fantastic job. You're good. Everything's good. Without this mind, I wouldn't be here. Without this body, I wouldn't be here. Without this vision here and in here, the intuition, my gut, the God nudge. I mean, it took a lot to get here. So of course I'm proud of myself. It was a hell of a journey to get here.
You remind me of myself in the morning when I realize I'm awake. I'm like, oh my God, I'm up. I'm alive. Yay. I'm alive.
Let's roll.
I'm alive. I have one more time to get it right. I have one more time.
Yeah.
One more time. So yes. What is your next biggest dream?
Change the world. What's the quote? To be a billionaire, you have to help a billion people. And it's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have. So the next dream is to, change the world, man. Impact it like never before.
Well, you've already started that, so you might as well just continue.
That's an ongoing process, I'm just turning up the volume. Right now we're at a 4. Wait till you get 6. It's going to be interesting.
I love it. I love it. Oh man, I gotta say, I appreciate you so much for just being so vulnerable and just being so open. I know that's not easy at times, but
No.
it's for you, right? And the people that are watching is for them as well. And it's for me too, because I was listening, right? Some things I definitely took away from. So thank you so much for your time and what you do. How can we learn more? How can the Think Fam learn more about the Shepherd Studio? And how can we follow you on social media?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, Jefferson Keith Langley. You can go to iamashepherd.com, the Shepherd Studios, right? I Am a Shepherd, and you got newsletters to sign up if you're a shepherd too. We give out shirts, I Am a Shepherd, to people, and if you think you're the type that leads things and you take care of and govern your projects and stuff, we're all about it. So, I mean, we get emails all the time. I want to be a shepherd. I want to know what that's about. And we got a cool company ethos about that, where, it's a bunch of leaders together, right? From their different walks of life, and they all came together. So the conversations are interesting, man. So yeah, you can check me out on LinkedIn. You can check me out on iamashepherd.com.
All right, Think Fam, you heard it here. Jefferson, thank you for being with us. I appreciate you.
Thank you
so much. You're
likewise.
welcome. Think Fam, don't go away. Back in a moment.
Hola, soy Antonio Vergara, un saludo desde la mitad del mundo y los invito a que vean mi entrevista y que sigan viendo los programas de Michael Finkley.
Hello everyone, my name is Antonio Vergara and I'm here in Ecuador, and I invite you all to watch my interview with Michael Finkley and to keep watching his show. Thank you.
Hi guys, welcome to Awaken. We wanted to serve the city of Mullins. We are church owned, and we felt like a coffee shop was such a huge need in the city of Mullins. There's nowhere for people to just come, get a cup of coffee, sit with friends, maybe do some work on the laptop. And so we feel like it was a service that we could give back to the city. Well, our hope is that people will feel calm, that they'll feel welcome, that it'll be a place where they can come and just clear their mind.
We come here twice a day. That's how good their smoothies, their coffee, their lattes, frappes, delicious. Oh, I love the atmosphere here. If I had time to come and just sit and relax, I would. It's awesome.
One thing that I really love about it being here is just the cozy environment. It's so inviting. I can come in here and I can get my schoolwork done, a good coffee and a good meal. But I'm just really thankful that they're here and that I have a good place to go.
We're open Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Awaken Coffee Bar, downtown Mullins.
Down the fast lane. Hey y'all, I'm artist Billy Stonecipher, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show. Like a freight train down the fast lane, we're coming.
On the next Michael Finkley, the winner of Sherry's Funding Over 50 contest, Juanita Lolita stops by. She tells us how her life has changed since being on Sherry and upcoming tour dates. Monday,